One of the things that I see a lot of hikers stressing over needlessly when they get on trail is food and food preparation. What to eat and how to prepare it. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're a subscriber or you have seen some of my videos before, welcome back. I've heard of hikers dying of dehydration and lack of water, but to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever heard of a hiker dying over a lack of food. To be honest with you, I've seen a lot of hikers, especially starting the trail, in need of doing without some food. Now, I know you have to eat, and a lot of times we don't consume as many calories as we burn, but I think a lot of people just spend too much time worrying about food and food preparation. With that in mind, I want to go over 3 methods of food preparation and food to bring on trail, and just share with you some things that I've learned about food and food preparation. So stay tuned. Now, the first method or system that I want to go over is the cook system or the stove system. There's all kinds of stoves on the market. I personally use the BRS stove. It's very lightweight, very cheap, and it works good. When I first started the PCT, I used this method to prepare my food, and basically I cooked oatmeal in the morning, and then at night I would have a Nora rice side or couscous or mashed potatoes, something like that. Some people will pour their dehydrated meals or whatever they're cooking in their cook pot, and then add water and then heat it up. But again, I think you use too much fuel that way, and it's better just to go ahead and pour it into a Ziploc bag and have a koozie and rehydrate it while it's cooking. As I said before, there's all kinds of stoves that are on the market and that many hikers use, and you'll just have to find out which one's best for you. They even have alcohol stoves that in some places you can't use it because it doesn't have a turn-off valve where you can turn the flame off and on. With the stove, you have to have a fuel canister, and a lot of times it comes in isobutane canisters. Some people get even more elaborate and bring pots and pans on the trail and dehydrate their food and bring it with them on the trail. Now, the next system or method is known as the stoveless or cold soaking method. Basically, you get a empty peanut butter jar or a Talenti ice cream container, empty of course, and put your dehydrated food in there, and then add water, and then let it sit for a little while and rehydrate. When I was hiking the PCT right out of Tehachapi, going through the Mojave Desert towards Kennedy Meadows, I was attacked by bugs, mosquitoes, no-see-ums, all kinds of insects. And when I got to camp, I could not even go outside to cook my food. I didn't want to cook anything within my tent, inside of my tent, and I couldn't go outside and cook my food, and so I was basically forced to eat things raw. So for 5 days, I never used my stove once to cook my food because I couldn't go outside and cook the food. And so I thought to myself, why am I carrying this stupid stove around when I'm not even using it? And so when I got to a trail town, I looked on the internet and did some research about cold soaking, and I switched to that method right before I got to Kennedy Meadows. Basically what I would do is about an hour before I got to camp, I would put my food in my peanut butter jar, empty peanut butter jar, and put some water in it, put it back in my backpack, and let it hydrate for an hour before I got to camp. Now, I don't believe the myth that hot food is better than cold food, or at the end of a hard hiking day that hot food is a morale booster. When you're hungry, you're hungry. You'll eat anything, sticks, rocks, leaves, whatever, you know. Now, the reason I use the cold soak method is because it's lightweight. You don't have to carry a stove around or a fuel canister. And also, when you get to camp, you don't have to fool around with your stove and heating up water, boiling water, letting the food rehydrate. Everything's ready when you get to camp. All you have to do is take your Talenti jar out with your food in it, or your peanut butter jar out with food in it, and it's already rehydrated for you. So you can start eating while everybody else is boiling water. And then they can't eat their food right away because it's too hot, so they have to let it cool off. And so while I'm cleaning out my Talenti jar, they haven't even taken their first bite yet. Now, don't get me wrong, I still use the cook method when I'm doing overnight hikes and short section hikes. But when I'm doing a long distance through hike, I thoroughly prefer the cold soaking method. And then the third method or system that I use on the trail is called the no cook system. The no cook system is a system that consists of just bringing food and eating food on the trail that doesn't need to be cooked, prepared, cold soaked, or whatever. Again, when I was doing the PCT in Etna, I met a guy who was a triple crowner. He was finishing the third of the 3 major trails, getting his triple crown. His name was Terminator, and he was the one that introduced me basically to the no cook system. My breakfast on the no cook system would include such things as cereal, breakfast bars, protein bars like Cliff Bars and stuff like that, breakfast meats like Spam or little smokies, little sausages. They also make a bacon that's a no-cook bacon that's really good. Then again, for coffee, I would put 2 Starbucks Vias packages in a 1-liter bottle and shake it up. And when I went down the trail, I would just drink the coffee. A lot of times I would put Carnation instant breakfast essentials, whatever it's called, in there to give me some more calories and vitamins and stuff like that. My lunch would be very simple. A lot of times I would just snack throughout the day on perhaps maybe trail mix or a protein bar, I'd stop and rest a little bit and eat something that was with protein, like a beef stick or jerky or something like that. Also for lunch, sometimes I would eat those tuna packets and chicken packets, and that was always good for lunch. Then for dinner is very simple. A lot of times it was, I would get a little block of cheese, sharp cheddar cheese, lasts the longest and is the best on trail, but also beef sticks, jerky, anything like that, kind of a protein. And then if you had any bars left over from the day, I like those Lenny and Larry cookies, protein cookies. Then for dessert, you could have something like dark chocolate or just something kind of sweet there at the end of the day. Now, those are the three methods or systems that I use to prepare my food when I'm out hiking. If I'm doing a short overnight hike or a section hike, short section hike, then I'll bring a stove and a fuel canister and cook my food. I will say this, I only had a what do you call those mountain house meals, those dehydrated meals. I only had one of those meals one time on the trail, and that's because somebody gave it to me. I wasn't about to spend $8, $9, $10 on stuff that tastes like cardboard. You know, really truly, trail food is not very appetizing anyway. And doesn't taste very good. Doesn't matter if you cook it, cold soak it, or just eat it raw. It doesn't taste very good. Which leads me to say that when you do a long distance through hike, you're never going to take in as many calories as you burn on the trail with trail food. There's always going to be a deficit of calories in, calories out. Now, what I do to make up for the deficit, the calorie deficit that I have on trails, when I get into a trail town, man, I pig out. Bacon, cheeseburgers, pizzas, malts, milkshakes, half gallons of ice cream, you name it. That'll make up for the deficit of calories that you expend on the trail. Now, peanut butter is a good food that will give you a lot of calories, and all you have to do is just take a spoon and dip it in there and start eating away. And you don't have to cook it. I realize that cold soaking is not for everyone, and I realize that no cook method is not for everyone. You have to have a hot meal. I understand that. And again, if I'm doing a short trip, then I'll bring my stove as well. But anyway, consider those alternatives that I have given as far as food preparation is concerned. Maybe it'll help you out on your next trip. Now, let me know if this video helped you in any way. And again, please be nice. Please leave a comment below. Give me a thumbs up. And if you've not subscribed to my channel yet, please be sure and do so. I appreciate it so much. If you'd like to look at another video on things that I've learned from the many years that I've been hiking, please be sure and check out the video right there. And until then, I will see you down the trail. And I'm hungry.